Very quickly, I'll just share a few things from the daily to the 4 hours to the blah, blah, blah. And then we'll make progress. Now, don't forget the fact that I explained to you guys prior to this time that with respect to the daily structure, we are still very much bearish, right? Right. Right. So high is cleared, or this daily is cleared. The only time we say we are bullish on EU, mute your mic. Shaking. The only time we can know we have a bullish on EU is when we clear this high. If we clear this high on EU, okay, then we can obviously look to do this. But until that happens, the sellers will only continue with their momentum. This becomes target liquidity and should be cleared. Okay, so until then, we are still very much bearish. Hence, that is why we have been experiencing more bearish momentum from yesterday, okay, than bullish momentum. So the bullish areas just hold as reactive levels and not something we could use to clear highs. Okay, so quickly, I will not waste too much time on this. What I want to show you is on the M1 time frame. For the new guys who are just joining, I hope you spend enough time in the library and make good use of it. Now, why did we have to sell from this point? Okay, personally, I was in the buy. Okay, the reason why I was in the buy was because number one, it was after I had taken the sell and I saw the momentum on the sell. I put it on my laptop. I'm still on my bed, so I was actually working with my phone. Okay, so why did we have to sell from this point? At least if it's correctional, if it's the what's it called? If it's the major move we're expecting for the day or any of that. But why did we have to sell from that point? Okay, and the answer is quite simple, because if you look at the story on price, okay, you look at the story forming presently on price, and then you had followed through. That is why it's important that you trade maximum of 2 pairs. For me, there may be some other people who like to do 5. Okay, but that's why I trade only Euro USD, because I see, for those of you who have been with me from the beginning, I will always talk about price action as the behavior of price. Okay, so I see price as a personality that has a certain behavior. And then I am used to, when we have behavioral changes, okay, I am used to having behavioral changes the same way we have humans with behavioral changes. Okay, so I can carefully follow or keenly follow on EU, and then know when there's a change in behavior, when it's beginning to pick up a new bad habit or a new good habit or something it wants to adopt as a style. Okay, let's go from yesterday. Let's go from yesterday, because I think that's where the whole sell scenario started. Okay, I missed a major sell because of that yesterday, so I refuse to miss that again today. So this is my Asian range, right? Let's do this together. I've talked about mid-Asia with you guys, right? Have I talked about mid-Asia with you guys?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
What did you say? Somebody answer me now. You've never heard me mention mid-Asia.
But you have talked about it, but not that.
Yes, you talked about it as being liquidity, but not in depth.
Wow. Okay, there's nothing to talk about in depth when it comes to liquidity. I've talked about mid-Asia as liquidity. There's nothing to talk about in depth. There's no in-depth liquidity. Liquidity is where we have money resting. That's all. You guys should not complicate things for yourself. Okay, so let's extend this. What happened here? What happened here with the sales? Mid-Asia, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to today's sales. Then I'll come back to explain what I want to explain. Let's go to today's sales. Now, somebody will ask, how does this confluence with mid-Asia? What happened? This is my mid-Asian line, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes,
so
sir.
let's go to the previous one, and I will explain what I want to explain. Always be careful of the story that presents itself mid-Asia. What is this story here? Grab on liquidity, right? Shift in structure. True or false?
True.
Where is the high that grab liquidity? Above mid-Asia. True or false?
Yes, sir.
Now,
True.
seeing a grab on liquidity above mid-Asia is almost as good as seeing a grab on liquidity above Asian high.
Okay.
Okay, so even if you're not willing to react, if you usually risk 50% on your setup and you see this kind of setup mid-Asia, at least risk 0.25 if you're not comfortable with taking it. Now let's go to see the story that happened on this price. Where is the grab on liquidity? Right?
Structure.
So we have this here as a grab on liquidity and the what? 15 structure. Above what? The Asian mid. Okay, now what is the extra confluence we have? What did I tell you my entry is when I look out for fair value gaps? I'm looking forward to seeing the last words.
This one week.
Okay. So as far as this setup is concerned, this was the grab on liquidity, right? And shift. What did I tell you guys about momentum and when price aggressively leaves a zone? We are coming back
Works
to
with the equilibrium.
we are coming back to test
Coming back to test here, the breaker.
the breaker block, right? So breaker block has retested, grab this inducement high, shifted structure. Where is the next point of liquidity? Right? Now, even if you want to say, let us say this whole move is an aggressive move, and because of that, price will still have to respect. So did you see in recent, no magic actually happened here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, in real sense, we did not have any magic happen here. Price just repeated the same thing he did yesterday. Okay, we have the same repetition. That is the secret behind mid-Asia. When you're looking at your mid-Asia pricing, look for the price action present in mid-Asia, and then try to follow through with the price action present in mid-Asia, at least with a low risk. Now, all of you who trade from me or trade with me will see this as an obvious buy setup. I actually took this buy, and then I was pissed at myself because I had a lower lot here than I had on the sales. Okay, if I was on my PC already at the time and I saw this, I would not take this buy. If I would take this buy, I would take it as just a correctional buy. Why? Because this buy is not even reacting. If this buy should hold, it should clear this low. If this buy should hold, then it had to clear this low as internal liquidity. You know why, right?
Yes, sir.
Because if this is the grab on liquidity, shift in momentum, this should be the what? The first break, okay? Where I have liquidity, and then I have all of this internal fair value gap and all of that. So at least my last week should be here, right? Before this imbalance. Yes, so if this buy should have been, should hold and be that strong, it should grab liquidity. It did not grab liquidity. It's still respecting whatever demand order flow was present here. And this is not even Asian low. Okay, if I want to trade Asian low, I will trade Asian low from the extreme. If you want to trade a block on Asian low, I will trade the Asian low from the low itself. I can't be trading few pips to the low. That's not Asian low. So this is not Asian low. It's not Asian high. It's not Asian mid. It's just somewhere in Asia. Okay, so the buy was a very, 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 very weak buy. It was a very weak buy. And it was my bad because I did not feel like opening my screen this morning. I just wanted to be lazy this morning. Okay, so there was nothing wrong with the sell. For those of you who saw the sales, you were paying attention to details. For those of you who did not see the sales, you are only reacting to the buy, which I was one of you. I was with both of you this morning. Okay, so that is why look at the surrounding, look at the environment around the trades you want to take. Okay, study the environment around the trade you want to take and then react. If I'm seeing a buy and upward here, I'm seeing a sell that makes me not trust the buy, I will enter my buy, and when it gets to my sell area, I will react to the sells. Okay, still leaving my buy open. Whoever wins, wins. I'm only reacting to my edge. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it's not anything.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm not saying nothing too extra because I've gotten down. I'll look for a new one. Okay, so these are just very, very, very basic things. It's nothing. Okay, just what price is doing. Let's see yesterday. Okay, I missed a lot of moves yesterday because I had a meeting to attend. Let's see yesterday. I had some zones I had sent you guys, expecting some certain level of reactions from, right? And then we had, which was the first? We had this as the first, right? It was quite reactive and continued selling. And then I think we had one more as the second one. I'm trying to figure out where that was. Let me see the Telegram group. All right. Okay. 3 minutes, 3 minutes. It wasn't 15 minutes, it was 3. It was 3 minutes. And I was looking for somewhere here for a grab and shift. I think it was where we had this final reaction. Let me check the price. 099, blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute, guys. 100,250. One zero zero 250. Okay. So this was the second zone, right? And this was the first zone. This was the first zone. Right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this was the first zone. Okay, and then we had some sort of reactions from the second zone. Okay, we had some sort of reactions from the second zone. Because yeah, I remember I was in this already. But the reactions were mere correctional. So I would like to explain why it happened and what happened. Okay, so this was taken out. We didn't have any form of reaction here. And then we had missed the main move. We had missed the main move because we are looking for a buy to take out this pricing here at mid-Asia, which was wrong. Okay, I did not put the whole mid-Asia concept to mind. When mid-Asia actually came to my mind, I was telling a friend, okay, I'll wait for reactions from mid-Asia and I'll sell. And price got to mid-Asia, okay, and I was expecting price to do this, grab, at least, and then come back here. So this was not fair pricing. Where we had the sales was not the best pricing for me to continue the sales, okay, because if I want to trace this through, obviously was not the best pricing, okay, obviously was not the best pricing. Let's trace this. Okay, so this is an unsupported base. As far as I'm concerned, this still remains an unsupported base because there's no story worthy enough to hold this through. Because the guy that sponsored this was still actually very unsupported. So don't worry, as you begin to advance with trading and with pricing, you will know when the market makers are not dealing from a range that is comfortable for them. The ranges that we are comfortable for them, we are very, very visible. Okay, because only two things are possible here. They can either induce this high, right, and sell, or come back to use this breaker, fill up this inefficiency here, right, and sell. So they discovered that they had both. If they come to this place to sell, they will be tagging in what? Breakout retest and continuation traders. If they come to this place to sell, they'll be tagging in SMC traders who trade liquidity and mid-Asia. Okay, so they wanted the move to be private. They wanted, for their reasons, they wanted to eat that alone. So they did, okay? They didn't come back to fair pricing. It was not comfortable for them. It was not so comfortable for us, but they did what they did. You must be able to think like the market. They are business people, okay? So some people were led to believing this was a grab on liquidity, right? Shift of structure or break of structure. Typical SMC traders will want to buy when price does this, right? Okay, so they had good liquidity and buy orders already resting below this area. So there was no need for them to come back here to grab liquidity. Okay, so what they did was that they took the liquidity out and then went back up. So this move back up is what they used to grab your liquidity and then gather momentum before the further dumping they did. Okay, we now had all of this. This was now a re-mitigation to confirm this order. So the trade automatically shifted bearish. Now, why did they have to come back to confirm this order? Because they aggressively escaped this zone, not tagging in bulk of their orders. They saw liquidity pending here for people who were taking buys. Okay, so not tagging bulk of their orders, they saw that there were chances, instead of coming back here to grab liquidity, they had enough liquidity they had engineered from this zone. So we automatically had a grab, this break, right? And then this high internally to be cleared, or the last point of week before the liquidity internal, which was a fair value gap. Okay, so this was now a more accurate pricing to sell from. Hence, they could continue their move throughout the whole day and want to use the same momentum to continue downwards today. Now, if you look at this, you realize that the whole setups internal are more precise and are more clearer now. The story we're expecting to happen here now happened here. They came back and cleared this high with Asia. Why did they clear this high? Why did they clear this high? Somebody, please. Have I been talking to myself? Curtis, is Curtis here? Curtis, why did they clear that high? Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, please, somebody should let me know you're hearing me. Choku, can you hear me? So everybody can hear me. I'm now a fool. Since silence is the best answer for a fool, I have to everybody keep quiet. You guys are trying. Laugh for yourself.
So they clear that.
My friend, don't tell me anything. They clear what? Jay, why did they clear the high? I asked him, he said they clear that. Father, we declare. Jay, why did they clear that high, please? Jay, this guy don't turn there for dumb. Prasad, you're here. Prasad, why did they clear that high?
Maybe after the BOS, they kept the SL over there.
Okay, to take off sell orders from the high. Why did they have to take out sell orders from the high? BOS, right? Did you say BOS?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Head down, sir.
Good. So this high was actually what sponsored, was the last inducement point after this low was taken. Okay, after this low was taken, right? It means they had engineered some certain level of buy orders and blah, 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 blah into this area. True or false? Okay, and then we have traders who are now willing to now dump from this point as breaker block. You must understand the logic. Okay, traders are now dumping from this point at breaker block, and they have broken even here. Those ones who will not break even at this point, they have taken some sort of partials and they have moved stop loss to protect this high, because the idea is that if this high is protected, price should not come above this high. But in the real sense, this is not the protected high. This is the protected high. Okay, because he actually sponsored the break, not this guy. So this guy is just an inducement high for early sellers, where we have liquidity resting that the banks or the institutions or the algorithm can grab, and then we can continue to make progress. Okay, let me see something. If we have a more comfortable dealing range instead of that. Okay, we don't still have a more comfortable dealing range. That was an issue anyway. Okay, that was not a more comfortable dealing range. But then it was clear enough, and we had liquidity resting there. They didn't need further notes. Okay, so this was the guy who created the break of structure. This was the inducement leg inside of the last break of structure for those people, because always think, okay, if I'm trading, I'm looking for liquidity. Liquidity is money. Liquidity is fuel. Where will I have those liquidity resting? Okay, some other people would have been willing to enter this trade from here. If I go to the 1 minute time frame, this is the 3 minutes. I'm trying to avoid too many stories on the chart. Some people would have entered here, right? Above this week, and put their stop loss where? Those who are dealing in Asia would have put their stop loss above this high. I'm talking about this, right? I'm trying to deal with this. Okay, they see this candle as protected, right? Because they will say the candle had taken structure. Yep. Okay? So they are seeing this as protected, right? So price will weak them out, take all of that liquidity before please mute
Austin Hogan.
Austin, I've not known Austin to be able
to. If they ask why market will take one particular.
Austin Hogan. In they ask why markets been take one particular high, you are now the commentator. You are doing commentary on the Zoom now. Okay, so the idea of all of that was to grab this liquidity resting here, which they succeeded in doing pretty well, and then they continued this morning. Okay, so what should be the next course of action is what we are trying to look out for. Okay, so I'll clear all of this story, and then let's see what we have on the larger scale. Personally, I expect some sort of, if we are going to see bullish corrections, except they still want to be playful today, I expect some sort of liquidity grab from this low. If we are going to see some sort of bullish corrections, okay, back to the upside, then back down into these areas. But I'm not still looking for buys from these areas, because all of these things are now, they've done their work. They should be cleared. The major target is external on the daily. Okay, the major target is external on the daily. So this low should be cleared, because I'll begin to see this as one swing leg. I'll begin to see this as this to this to this. Okay, I'll begin to see that this guy here is useless. He didn't do anything. So I begin to see that at one swing leg. This was just an inducement high to your early sellers, part of the engineering liquidity. Okay, and then I had marked this zone for you guys. I'm trying to look for if we have any reason to still come higher a bit. We could still come higher a bit, because this guy here is still in a loss. The market makers are still in a loss from this position, this bullish position here, and they would not continue like that.
You say you don't come up.
Oh, good. Austin Hogan, you will not be a market woman in Jesus' name. Okay, so this area should be mitigated as some sort of breaker block. Okay, if that should happen, then it means that we need to grab some sort of energy from probably any of this guy as a grab on liquidity, and this as a shift in structure. So price should be willing to revisit this internal range. Okay, or just grab liquidity from this low and continue its movement. But I want price in this area. So I'm concerned about this whole large area and the price action present in this area. Okay, I want to see what happens inside of this area. I want to see what happens does not mean I'm jumping into a buy or a sell, because we can have price continue its thing all the way back down. We can have price react. So I'll just be reacting to the price actions inside of this area. If we grab liquidity first and give me a buy scenario, I will react. If we come into deeper and give me a buy scenario, I will react. But then I expect this to come in lower a bit from this area, or maybe lower. Now this has been mitigated, right? Clearly mitigated. All of these areas have been mitigated. This is the only point where we have a valid fair value gap that we can tap into. Okay, so we could tap into these areas, right? Probably use this breaker block if we want to go or deeper. If we are not going to just grab and move. Okay, so we can just do this and then come back here. Okay, so it's very, very possible to do that. What is the reason for coming back here? Okay, so we're coming back here. We'll be coming back into this area, right? Like I explained, because like I said, the market makers had taken a sell to buy model and aggressively dumped. Okay, if they have aggressively dumped this area, it means that this buy that was opened here have not been mitigated. Hence, this buy position is still in a loss. And they cannot be in a loss for such a long time. So they should come back to this area to close this at least on break even before further movements. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting to see here. That's what I'm expecting to see here, if need be. Although on the daily time frame, we have already reacted to the week, right? We have already reacted to the week of this candle, right? But from what I told you guys, the volume is in the body when it comes to dojis. Okay, the volume is in the body. And we have not even touched the body, talking more of touching 50% of the candle. Okay, except they want to choose to react from this. It is their market, they can do whatever they want. But then I think we should still see further upsides before we drop. Okay, further upsides before we drop. I'm trying to look out for something for you guys. Let me see if I can get the reaction I wanted from any of these places. Okay, I can't find that. I can't find that. But let's see how it drops. So we'll just be concerned about the price action inside of this area, and then we'll be willing to engage. Okay. We'll be willing to engage. They had a nice breaker block to mitigate from this area, right? So they didn't have any reason to, there was no reason for them to go higher, of which they had already used the breaker block here and tried to go higher, and the breaker block failed. So it means they have to grab enough liquidity from something higher than the breaker block. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing price come back into this body to give us actual transfer of funds, though there's already transfer of funds from this guy to this guy. Okay, but I think it can be more precise. That's just an expectational order flow. Okay. Yeah, it's the same area I'm talking about. The same area I just marked. This is the same areas I'm talking about. So we should see this. This is the only valid inefficiency here. And like I explained, we could either grab this and give a change of story, right? Or come back to seeing these positions. Okay, so let's see how we move from there. Let me see M15. I just have 8 more minutes for this. Let me see the M15 breaker. I'd rather use the M15 breaker than use that on the H1. Okay, so this is the M15 breaker. This is the M15 breaker. Okay, so I'll be concerned about this area. So let's see how that goes. If we have a change of story, a narrative inside of here that beats us to buy, we'll be looking forward to that. Okay, if we do not have a story that beats us to buy from there, we continue with the sellers, see when we have a story to buy. So for those of you who are in the sell, I expect that you have taken partials and broken even already at this point. Let's see what the day holds for us. Okay, Jay, were you saying something? I have just 7 minutes so I can round this up. Do other things.
Yes, I was trying to answer, but then my network.
Okay. Don't worry. I'm not hearing it.
Maybe.
Don't worry. I'm just going. So don't.
What's up?
You can send me just send me a message on the group. Okay. All right, guys. So I want to believe we had a swell time this morning, right?
So I have a question on the 3 minutes time frame. You can go back there, please.
Okay. Okay. All right.
We had no, on the 15 minutes, please. Let's go on the 15 minutes answer.
Okay. So
One set.
Yeah. So when we have something, it's still on the 3 minutes. It's just not zoomed out enough.
okay. Where exactly? What's the price point?
Yeah, this grab of Asian high, the one I grabbed, the one you explained previously.
This one?
Yeah, I'm talking about the range itself before the grab.
The range.
Yeah, from that high to that low before the grab.
Yeah.
Now my question is, before this drop, price didn't return to the 50%, the premium price.
Yeah.
But it grabbed the inducement high there. So when we have a situation where
7%, off.
Ha, who is
Yeah?
that? Who is that? Who is that bushman on the background? Please proceed. So you're talking about this area, right? From this high, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, from that high
to this low.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after the external liquidity of that range got grabbed, price returned back into the range, then created an inducement. But even after returning back there to grab that inducement the second time, price still did not touch the 50%. Now, if we have that kind of scenario, after the grab of liquidity, is it safe to take that as a dealing range for us?
Now, the reason why price should come into discount or premium movement is to get fair pricing. Why do they need fair pricing? Because of money, liquidity. If I have 200,000 and I want to buy a phone from you and you sell that phone at 50,000, and what I had in mind before, when I had the phone, I heard the phone was 150, and I come to you and you sell for 50,000. If I go out and come back and you tell me, oh, now it's 70,000, oh, will I be reluctant to pay?
You will.
Will I be reluctant? Will I feel bad about paying 70 instead of 50? Hear the story. Yeah, great. I will not feel bad because what I had in mind when I left the house was to buy this for what? 150. So even if the price moved to 100, I have still saved 50,000 from what I had in mind. That is how you should do discount and premium prices. The only reason they want to go above 50% is to buy it is to buy it cheaper. Is to sell it, buy it at this point and then sell it when it's what? More expensive, right? They want to sell it more expensive and buy it when it is cheaper. Okay, so on their bid coming to this point, they see extra money. They see extra money resting above this high, right? And then this area has more money than this area. Why? Because we only have smart money traders who are looking for fair value gap inside of here, right? Small crowd, small money, small liquidity. But in this area, we have traders who are looking out for a breakout, a retest continuation. We have traders who are looking out for resistance, non-support. And we still have smart money traders who will see this here as a grab on liquidity and a break of this structural low. And we expect price to come here and return to other block. Okay, so at this point, we have basically probably 10% of the population sitting here. Inside of here, we have like 95%. So where's a better dealing range for the market makers?
But wouldn't it be like still okay if they grabbed that high, then still went for the money still above it?
Too far a distance. If they grab this high, they will put the smart money traders in profits, right? If they react from here, they put everybody in a loss. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They're not interested in giving you money. Nobody wants to give you free money.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you must be willing to think like them. If it were you, that's why learn to play chess. Okay, you help me make some kind of important. I don't have to play though, but I heard it to help you make important. Okay, so knowing when to do what is key. If I come here, these guys will be making money off my move. So this is a more comfortable place for me. But why I need a more comfortable place is because I need to grab liquidity. The size of the liquidity inside of here, the liquidity pool inside of here is very small, generated by this small liquidity level. 5.5 pips. That's what they're after. That's the liquidity pool inside of here. But inside of here, I have money everywhere. Does it make sense? So this is a more comfortable area for them to buy. Though this would have been the best pricing. This would have been the best pricing, but this is a more comfortable pricing where they get to grab more liquidity that can enhance a move.
Okay.
Did that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other question? All right then. In the absence of any other question, I'll see you guys on Sunday. Have an amazing weekend, guys. And
Thank you very much.
Make sure you're not closing in a loss. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right then.